Remember that episode of The Big Bang Theory when David Underhill, and when he sits there and says something, and Penny gets mad at him? That's what you derived from that. That's what you took from that last video, right? I finish it, and it's like that was Michael J. Fox's sitcom and not Kirk Cameron's. It's like, seriously, these people. Gosh, Sheldon, you're so much smarter than me. Boy, the second page, what a boner you made. Oh, another fainter, right? Seriously, that's what you take from that. I didn't watch either one of those sitcoms hardly at all. I just sat and watched all the propaganda through religious dogma that Kirk Cameron does, and then thinks he's got Jesus Christ and God on the Lord's Prayer, explaining the truth behind every word. 56 minutes for that video, and it has a Jesus picture with these people are insane, and it's got 1.2 million views loaded 2 months ago, right? And we're still not living the Lord's Prayer worldwide, but we got 1.2 million people that now, after watching a 60-minute video for money for advertising, okay, the Lord's Prayer explained, the truth behind every word. Yeah. Gospel reggae mix. Rule America, a man with no legal identity off the grid in Appalachia. What would we do, baby, without us? I really like Niecy Williams and Johnny Mathis, but all that is just advertising to get Freddie Prinze to commit suicide because he doesn't feel he can keep it up. It's insane. If you were living the Lord's Prayer, do you really think he'd be dead? Most people wouldn't even know who he was, but he'd live a long, healthy life, loving and being loved in return. There was a boy, a very strange, enchanted boy. Though he spoke of many things, fools and kings, here's what he said to me. The greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. Wouldn't it have been better if he didn't die from stress and throat cancer and lived to be 104 years old? And Natalie just sang in the church choir instead of getting addicted to cocaine because of the horrible lifestyle she had to live in a city that destroys people's lives and doesn't give them the Garden of Eden? Wouldn't you rather sing really good songs for 15 faithful people instead of sing songs for mass murderers who destroyed your life with drugs and alcohol and sexual parties that make people, hey, let's go find somebody's hiney for me to bite? Yeah, the way she describes having sex with someone you met at a bar is the same way Will Penny describes killing somebody with a gun to button. What would we do, baby, without us? Guess it's over, call it a day. Sorry things had to end this way. Too much, too little, too late to ever try again. Let's just end it being friends. It's over, it's over. What kind of fool tears it apart, leaving me pain and sorrow? You ever heard that song? Driving in a U-Haul from Sierra Vista to Las Cruces, wondering why your wife can't go stop fucking leg lifters at a bar and making her children sad and miserable. Dad, why don't you just marry Patrick's mommy? I just want a mom. Daddy, you made Mom and Crumb go away. Kate, are you mad at me because I made Crumb and Crumb go? No, Daddy. Mommy and Crumb are dead. You ever had your 3-year-old look you in the eye and say, why are you being upset and being bratty because you're like Emily and thinking I made Crumb and Kate go away? No one ever sat and talked to her about it. Amy didn't tell her. They went away and never came back. So Kate, because Amy didn't discuss anything with her because I was too busy working to try to take care of everything and make sure Crumb was healthy, born as a baby, that Kate thought her mom and her brother were dead. Wow, everybody needs somebody like Mayim Bialik and the screenwriters from The Big Bang Theory studying their house with Stephen Hawking to see just how real and how important and intelligent Ralph Earl Parsons Jr. is. So the Lord's Prayer explained the truth behind every word. Right? I don't have 1.2 million views. I didn't load it 2 months ago. And that person's making lots of advertising money off of that bullshit. And people are still being mass murdered because we're not being denied the Lord's Prayer. You got assholes on Fox News that this guy overstayed his visa. He got programmed with Wi-Fi till it drove him nuts, and then he went out in the street and killed people. Yeah, I know. I'll never get to see Melinda Michelle Bowen ever again because of that type of science project that you pay for with your taxpayer dollars. And whether you voted for Kamala Harris or you voted for Donald Trump, as long as you're voting for people that murder each other over money, you voted for the death of those people. You voted for the murder of Melinda Bowen. You voted for the sexual assault of Amy. The hands of your super soldiers and your Jack Ryans and your Jack Reachers and all the people that John Krasinski and Tom Cruise and Michael G. Jordan pay in a movie, and they're so sexy and they're so heroic. I am the most gorgeous man I've ever seen. If I was a woman, I would never want to stop kissing my face and, try not to get angry, try not to give in to things that upset you. He's a living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer. There's no price you can pay to get him to deny the truth of the Lord's Prayer and for every child to be able to live it from cradle to grave. If I was a woman, I would not want any other man right now in the world to touch me. And I wouldn't want to have anybody else's child but Earl's. Okay? What happens if you have my child in the 1990s? He gets abused by jealous people with bad technology and ripped away from his dad, put with a bunch of Jack Mormons, has lots of promiscuous sex. They extract the children out of those young girls through abortion clinics and plug his kids into computers so it drives him and his mom crazy. I only have two. The spirit of Uriah through Raquel Sally and the spirit of Solomon through Yolanda Denise Gilliard, Chief Gilliard's grandson. Those are the only two kids that I have plugged into supercomputers. Those are the only two girls that I had sex with that I didn't wear a condom and oops, there's a pregnancy. That's it. Okay. I told my dad that. I don't have a lot of kids. You won't find kids running around. No, you won't find any of my kids running around. No, the Rockefeller Foundation and the UN extracted the babies from the mother's womb and plugged them into a computer. Okay, they told me that. They came up and told me that. And they showed me the videos and had the videos and showed about it, what the Temple of Set Illuminati does with certain people's children that they, are part of the, quote, holy families. Well, they learned it from the Koreans and the Chinese. If you take the people like the Buddha and the Krishna and the swordsmen of Japan and you take them as babies and you plug them into computers, it really helps keep the mass populace calm, that one day everything will be okay, all these computer programs will be shut down, and all these devices will trap all these perverts in their own hell, make everything completely evident about truth, everything completely obvious about lie. There'll be nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And if necessary, the technology they'll become so reliant on their technology to maintain this abuse that the technology will find ways to isolate, contain, and exterminate the people that are obviously the liars, and then reveal the truthful people to the world so we can all understand the Lord's Prayer and how to live it worldwide. That's what it says in almost all our religions. Okay. They all correlate. As you guys movie, they all kite from each other. No, truth is truth and lie is lie. And when truth is truth, it's just as obvious, it's just as evident in Peru as it is in Mecca, Israel, and Las Cruces, and New York. And when lie is obvious, it's just as obvious anywhere you try to hide it under a rock for money and hide your child porn on a flash disk that you keep in your desk drawer at work, right? I'm a rocket scientist and you're a liar. Yeah, Your brain don't work too good. You may be able to send cameras into space to talk teenage girls into masturbating for you and your buddies to masturbate too. Okay. But as far as figuring out that I'm the one who stops it and everybody can see why I stopped it and why I was born, and there was a book about my life that would stop it and why everybody prayed for me to stop it because it's the right thing to do. You're with me now, and as long as I'm sure loving you's the right thing to do. Let's close now. Okay. I think because of all the brain damage and stuff, I think me and Jennifer Lopez and Janet Jackson can be friends. I don't think Megan Thee Stallion or Janet Jackson or Angie Bassett or anything like that. I think if they had to just hug me, people feel that way around the Dalai Lama and the Pope. Okay. And I'm one of the sexiest, most charismatic, protecting, beautiful men in the history of the world that looks like the Dalai Lama and the Pope. Science geeks that read books and hide out and try to be the guy who tells Stephen King stories at the fire to get everybody to believe in magic and voodoo. Is that a high hump? You said high hump was a macho. No, high hump and heat dog. Remember if you throw up and whatever and stuff, you don't pass the trials and you got to do it again. High hump and he cheated on the test. They kept coming up and doing that stuff to him and hitting him in the back. And remember when Tom Custer, I told you that story, comes up, yeah, it hurts. What did they do? They made sure that I drank all this and puked and threw up and didn't have anything left in my body so I could pass the trials because he was 12 going on 13, and they wanted him to do it because they trusted him with their lives. They didn't want no water. They didn't want anybody in Red Cloud's family. They wanted Little Hawk on their flank. A 13-year-old boy instead of No Water, who was 20, because No Water was a coward, and he was like those people in the military. First thing I'd do is take you out and put you in a foxhole because your selfishness would get all my good people killed. Okay, so yeah, they cheated on the test, and Custer knew it. And they came up and they hit him on the back. He went, oh gosh, him and He Dog and High Hump, because High Hump was so excited that he had Little Hawk on his flank, the best wingman in the history of the Oglala Nation, a half-breed. Half-breed, learned to hate the word. No, I don't want full-blooded Indian Richard Jefferson, No Water, to back me up. That fucker would sell me for a steak and kill me just to fuck my wife twice on Sunday. Hell no, I want that half-breed kid over there. His spirit is good. He flies like a hawk that loves us all and tells us where to go to protect our women and children from perverts, even in our own tribe. Tishna, fun, Inju, hua. I'm the spirit of Little Hawk, bitch. Not any of you bitches on TV making money for Robert Redford's casinos. Tell me you love me for a million years. If it don't work out, then you can tell me goodbye, right? Who's the man? Oh, Mr. I Want an Emmy knows. Kiowa knows. The little girl who plays Bernie, she knows. Oh, that's the man. He's gorgeous. Every man should be like him. So we'll stand up for a Lord's Prayer today. And you will be. You will be.